award-winning documentary is one of the closing films at this year's Cinemalaya Independent Film Festival. Environmental thriller Delikado takes viewers to top tourist destination Palawan, where environmental crusaders fight to preserve their natural resources. Joining us now here on New Day are the people behind Delikado. We have the film's director, Karl Malakunas, and Robert Bobby Chan, Executive Director of the Palawan NGO Network Incorporated. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us here. A lot to talk about. So, Direct, let me start off with you. I mean, this docu actually premiered last April at the Hot Docs Canadian International Film Festival, and it has since made rounds in festival abroad. I mean, how does it feel for you, Direct Karl, that it finally, came home?
Oh, it means everything to finally come home to the Philippines. It has been, we've been lucky enough to be able to show it around the world. And we're in Melbourne at the moment. We're going to be screening it at the Melbourne International Film Festival this week. But it means everything to bring it to the Philippines. This is where we wanted Filipinos to see this film, and this film is made for Filipinos.
That's right. I mean, this docu actually presents compelling social and environmental, issues that we have here in the Philippines. We're sadly deemed as one of the most dangerous places in Asia for land defenders. I mean, Karl, what made you decide to do this concept for your docu? Why the Philippines? I mean, why Palawan? Have you always wanted to tell the story of land crusaders? How did this all start for you?
This started about a decade ago. I was Manila Bureau Chief for Agence France Presse for AFP. I spent nearly a decade living in the Philippines. I was going to go down to Palawan to do a story on ecotourism. Doc Jerry Ortega was my contact for the story, and just before I was about to go down, he was killed. So I went down to investigate his murder and do a story on his murder. And while I was there, I met Bobby Chan, and I met other land defenders who were risking their lives, putting everything on the line to try and save Palawans, to save the last frontier. And I was immediately I felt compelled to tell this story in a much deeper way, and of course when I met Bobby, he an incredibly charismatic person, incredibly strong person. I knew that he was going to be one of the main characters.
There you go, Bobby. This is your show here, Bobby. I mean, bilang isang kumbaga, defender of the forest, defender, of the earth, this actually follows land defenders in Palawan. I mean, we go to Palawan, we enjoy the beaches. I mean, we don't really see what's happening, back door. So can you actually paint us a picture of how serious the problem is over there and what kind of illegal activities threaten the country's last ecological frontier?
Well, there's a lot of land that is untouched in Palawan, and there's a frenzy on how people want to come in and use it, not just as tourists anymore, but as business investors, or even if you want to settle in it. But you see, this is the last frontier, Christine, and what scares me is that nobody is scared at all on how they can just come in and convert it. So we need a change of mentality from being utilitarian mindsets into going back and trying to have conservation mindsets. So we've got to preserve it.
Okay, so this film, Delikado, is actually, what Karl did is actually a mirror, to society, allowing us to look and see what's actually happening. So, Bobby, looking ahead, what must be done to address these issues? I mean, immediately, there seems to be a sense of urgency watching even the trailer of this documentary.
Well, our problem as a third world country is we always try to copy what the first world countries are doing, and we put a premium too much on educating communities or studying species, but we don't take care of the basic problem, which is we have to enforce environmental laws. And this film is actually how to do things differently. No? Others plant and reforest, others educate and study species, but our group decided, no, we'll just go to the basic of catching chainsaws and confiscating dynamite fishing boats in order to preserve the resource. So back to basics, enforcement, 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 because we have to stop the violation before it gets out of hand. And then we save the resource.
So enforcing environmental laws, I mean, Direct Carl, your film has, you mentioned earlier, has been recognized, I mean, abroad many times over. And among the awards, you have Sustainable Future Award, Audience Award, Special Jury Prize Award at the film festival recently in Sydney, and then you Los Angeles, New Zealand, and you know, it just goes on and on. But Carl, what would you say would be the biggest takeaway or even impact, I mean, for the film, for local and global audiences? I mean, Bobby already mentioned environmental laws. What is it that you want us to feel and do actually after watching this docu?
Well, but whether it's Palawan, the Philippines, or globally, land defenders like Bobby Chan, like Nieves Rosento, like Tata Baladeras, that we show in the film, are on the front lines of our battle against climate change in this, in the climate emergency that we're all experiencing. The people on our land defenders are on the front lines of this battle, and they need to win their battles for us to win this battle against the climate crisis. And so I would love people to watch this film, in the Philippines, to feel enraged, to feel inspired, to feel energized, to go out and do something for their land defenders. And to help protect them. As you mentioned, land defenders in the Philippines is one of the deadliest countries in the world, actually, to be a land defender, and they need to be protected. So there's lots of people, lots of groups out in the Philippines who are working to try and with land defenders. And if people can go out and help them and defend the defenders. And then, of course, the film is set in Palawan. As you mentioned, everyone in the Philippines loves to go to Palawan to enjoy its natural beauty, to enjoy its natural wonders. So maybe when they go, they can just ask questions and to think about, the places that they're staying, the people that they're meeting, and are their actions when they go to Palawan helpful for the environment?
There you go. Well said. I like what you said. Defend the defenders. Carl, how and when can we watch the film?
Well, it's going to be screening at Cinemalaya on August 13 at 3:30 p.m. Saturday, August 13. So if anyone can go and the tickets are available online, and or they can buy at the CCP. And then after that, we're going to be looking to roll out community screenings around the Philippines. That's our next phase, and we want to get it into to audiences, to barangays all around the Philippines, at the basketball courts, perhaps in barangays all around the Philippines. We will want to get it out to everyone.
Thank you so much for lending your voice and your time with us this morning, Direct Karl Malakunas and PNNI Executive Director Bobby Chan.